Board. Terry, will you please call the roll so we can confirm who's in attendance?
Mike Antrim. Present. Curtis Baumgartner.
Here.
Julia Germer.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, I'm calling this meeting to order at 7:01. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Do we have any changes to the agenda today?
Madam President, I would request that we remove action item number 2, which is the Old Town Company's PIF agreement. Unfortunately, the one that you have in front of you is an old version, and there have been changes made to it that I want to make sure the board has a chance to review prior to voting on it. So if you would please remove that item, we will bring it back in front of you at your October meeting.
Can I get a motion to remove new business item 2?
I also have one additional change.
Okay.
In talking to Chris, it sounds like action item number 4 is with regards to fall roundabout landscaping.
Correct.
Goods and services agreement with Hiddle. So also want to make that change as well.
To remove the reference to Simon Moon Park, new business
Yeah,
item 4?
just to update it. Yeah, correct. I move to approve the changes to the agenda as presented.
Okay. Any discussion? I don't see any. Terry, will you please call the roll?
Mike Antrim. Yes. Curtis Baumgartner.
Yes.
Julia Germer.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right. It's the public comments portion of the agenda. Mr. Vice President, are there any members of the public that want to address the board?
Madam President, there are no members of the public present this evening, so there will be no public comments.
Okay. Moving on to the minutes from our last meeting on August 6, 2025. Is there a motion to either make a change or to approve these minutes?
I move to approve the minutes of the August 6, 2025 Westfield Park and Recreation Park Board meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing none?
Mike Antrim.
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner.
Yes.
Julia Germer.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, well, we're moving on to old business, and we don't have any items of old business, so moving on further to new business. We have 3 items of new business to discuss. First is a contract amendment to an agreement originally entered into back in November 2021 with V3 Companies Limited. Chris, can you please provide an overview of this agreement?
Absolutely. This is to continue the contract with V3 and add construction administration to the scope of their services for the fee of $266,000. That will cover all of the construction administration for Simon Moon Phase 2, which includes both the landscape architecture CA and the architectural, structural, and electric construction administration. And if the board has questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
Relative to the scope, is there going to be any need for subcontracting of the architecture?
I don't know. I don't think there's going to be any need for subcontracting at this time.
Okay.
Their team, V3 has a team member, Synthesis, I do believe it is, that has been highly involved in the design, and they are a architectural and engineering firm that did all the design for any of the vertical structures that are a part of Simon Moon Phase 2.
So does the city have an agreement with that firm
Yeah.
directly? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Another question here, I'm not sure if this is a typo. There's provisions here about being compensated at 110% of expenses for things like printing and mileage.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an error?
Not to my knowledge, no, but there shouldn't be any printing, postage, or any of those types of things. But I don't know the answer to that with 100% certainty.
Looks like it's reimbursables, Chris.
Yeah, it's mostly reimbursables.
110% of your reimbursables.
Well, here's the person who.
Oh, Sarah, perfect.
Sarah is here. I'm sure she can answer this question. You walked in at the
And
perfect time.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can, Caitlin.
Oh, I was going to add that it does say pre-approved reimbursable expenses. So I think that's helpful to point out as well, that the city would have to approve those in advance.
Thank you for pointing that out. It's a question about the 110% of pre-approved reimbursables, whether or not that was a typo, and why the 110% as opposed to 100%. Sure, yeah, so you push the little button on the microphone. Down a little further, right there. There you go.
Yeah. So 110% is standard of our contracts. And that's just the language that we had in there. If that's a revision that the city requests, that's something that we can also make.
I guess, I think it's unreasonable to reimburse at excess of your expenses. So, I mean, I would certainly like to see that struck.
Sure, yeah. It's basically that extra percentage covers for administrative elements that are associated with expenses, but, you know, we do have some clients who request modifications to that.
Let me ask this question. Does the total, the $266,000, does it include any reimbursable expenses in that? There's just not a line item for reimbursables. A lot of times I'll see that as a not to exceed amount that's included in the services agreement, the proposal, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not a line item, so I think, I mean, it's a legitimate question, just wanting to know, you know, do we need to approve this at more than $266,000, or is the $266,000 going to cover the reimbursables?
The 266, I do believe we included some expenses in that, basically mileage.
Okay.
Were our anticipated costs for that. We wouldn't anticipate any other costs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we approve this as a not to exceed $266,000, Chris won't have to come back to the park board and ask us for more money. Perfect.
Yes, that's fair.
Perfect. Are you good with that?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as, I guess, makes sense to you.
Do you think this is reasonable and necessary, Chris? Is it your recommendation we approve it?
Yes, absolutely. V3 was also the CAA on Simon Moon Phase 1, and they did a wonderful job, and I have every confidence that they would continue to do a wonderful job on the project and provide the exact services we need through this contract.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, I don't see any. Is there a motion to accept the terms of the contract amendment and authorize the director to enter into it?
Yes, I move that the park board approve the professional services agreement with V3 as presented for construction administration services for Simon Moon Phase 2 in a sum not to exceed $266,000, and authorize the director to execute the same.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Terry, will you please call the roll for vote?
Mike Antrim,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner.
Yes.
Julia Grimmer.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item of new business is a contract for goods and services with Boyle Construction Management, Inc., related to Simon Moon Park Phase 2, for the amount of $5,140,000. Chris, can you please provide an overview of this item and the goods and services encompassed?
Absolutely. So like you said, this is a contract with Boyle Construction Management to provide all the services for the construction of Simon Moon Phase 2, which will include a new playground, an additional shelter, a concrete seating pavilion, a outdoor education pavilion, a four-season winter shelter at the top of the sledding hill, a boat launch with ADA boat launch as part of it, and then an additional entry boardwalk in the northwest corner of the pond. The funds for this project will come from the Park District bond that the board passed last year, and this is a lump sum bid at $5,140,000, and it was the lowest bid through our bid process of 3 qualified bidders. And if there are any questions from the board, I am happy to answer them at this time.
Just curious how the other bids came in, like what the totals were.
Without knowing that, I can give you a ballpark. I don't remember them
That's
off the
fine.
top of my head. The second closest, if I remember correctly, was just over 6 million, and the highest bid was 6.8 million.
Okay. You've had some dialogue with Boyle just to ensure that they didn't miss something.
We have had an initial meeting with Boyle Construction. We also requested additional information beyond their basic bid. So basically a call-out sheet of all of their subcontractors and their bids for each individual service. So I'm pretty confident that this is a very reasonable and professional bid and will provide us what we need.
Thank you.
Chris, is this consistent with the budget and the master plan?
It is consistent with the master plan. It is also consistent with what we bonded and budgeted for phase two. We bonded $5.5 million for this project, so this is well under that $5.5 million threshold. It allows us a little bit of wiggle room if there are change orders. For the record, I hate change orders, and I'm adamant at protecting us from change orders. I think Sarah would attest to that as well. But yes, to answer your question, we are well within our budget, and it is consistent with the master plan.
So there is a contingency built into the bid.
There is not a contingency
Okay.
built into the bid. We have a contingency in our dollar figure.
Okay.
We have some wiggle room with about $400,000 if there is change orders that come to us.
Perfect.
So we do have a little bit of movement there.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have one just clarifying question. So looking at the agreement, it refers to an Exhibit B as the descriptor of the goods and services. That, I think, doesn't quite contain a complete reference, but but then, in subsection F, under A, talks about the contract documents.
Yep.
Is that like, are those B, subsection B, C, D, E, F, all those, is that like the RFP that went out?
That is the spec book that went out as part of the RFP,
Okay.
and then all 4 of the addendums that were included in that. The reason that they are not, and I'm happy to share them with the board if you would like them, the reason that they're not on this document right now, because it makes the document 893 pages long.
But that's what these references are?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, and the signature copy that Boyle has already signed includes all of that information as well. So there will be one master copy that is almost 1,000 pages long that includes all that documentation and really sets the stage for what is expected of them through this construction process.
Okay, great. Are there any other questions? Okay, is there a motion to accept the terms of the contract for goods and/or services with Boyle Construction Management and authorize the director to enter into it?
I move that the park board approve the goods and services agreement with Boyle Construction Management Incorporated for construction services as it pertains to Simon Moon Phase 2 development in the sum of $5,140,000 and authorize the director to execute the same.
Is there a second?
Yes, second.
Okay, I don't see any further discussion. Terry, will you please call the roll for vote?
Mike Antrim,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner.
Yes.
Julia Grimmer,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, our final item of new business today is another contract for goods and/or services. This one with Hiddle Landscaping for design, prep, and installation of landscaping at certain roundabouts and median area at a total cost of $196,037. Chris, will you please provide an overview of the contract and the areas to be improved?
Absolutely. Like you said, this is a contract with Hiddle Landscaping to provide roundabout landscaping at 3 roundabouts on the west side of Westfield. Those roundabouts include Somerville and Ditch Road roundabout. Also included in that is Somerville and Ditch Road median, which stretches to the west of that roundabout. 151st and Ditch Road roundabout, and Casey and Ditch Road roundabout. Also included in the contract are the first 30 days of watering to make sure that these plants are watered in and have the best possible chance of being successful before we go into the winter and they go into dormancy. And that is the gist of the contract. They will have, after the contract is executed, they will have until November 1st to complete the installation of the plants. At this time, if the board has any further questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Do you consider this reasonable, necessary, and is it consistent with the budget and the master plan?
Absolutely. This is just underneath what the budgeted amount was for the project. Had been scored by our scoring committee and scored the highest. The total amount for this contract was $200,000, not to exceed $200,000. And it was well within the master plan and what the wishes of the administration are as far as landscaping our roundabouts and beautifying our city.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't see any other questions or comments being raised, so is there a motion to accept the terms of the contract for goods and/or services with Hiddle Landscaping and authorize the director to enter into it?
Yes, I move that the park board approve the goods and services agreement with Hiddle Landscaping for fall roundabout landscaping services in a sum not to exceed $196,307 and authorize the director to execute the same.
Is there a second?
Second, I do believe that there was a typo in the motion. It should be $196,037. Just want to make that
Thank you.
correction.
That's correct.
Would you like to
Yes.
second that?
Yeah, I do second it.
Any,
I think you have to second my change, though. I don't know.
However, I'll amend my motion to
There you go.
correct the typographical error, not to exceed $196,037.
And I second. Thank you.
okay, I don't see any further discussion, so Terry, will you please call the roll for vote?
Mike Antrim,
Yes.
Harris Baumgartner.
Yes.
Julia Grimmer,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, thank you. Now proceeding to the director's report.
Thank you, Madam President. We've had a busy month. We closed earlier this month successfully closed on a new 22.5 acre parcel on the northwest side of Westfield, formerly known as the Marianne White property. It is on the northwest corner of 186th and Casey Road. Currently, there is a house and a barn there. We will probably use the barn immediately for storage, and in the near future, we will go through the master plan process at that site as well. It's going to be really cool to see what the future holds for that site. Some of the other decisions that have been made, the Parks Department and Westfield Welcome had a discussion about how to best serve the community and where programs and events best fit. So I am excited to announce that next year, Westfield Parks Department will be taking on the farmers market and the farmers market manager as staff. And we will also be taking on Jams at the Junction as well as Kids Summer Series, because those things fit more in the program alignment of what the Parks and Recreation Department does as opposed to what the special events charge for Westfield Welcome is. And it alleviates that need for them so that they can focus on larger events for the city. The other thing that happened over this last month was we were recognized as a finalist for Simon Moon Phase 1 in the Monumental Awards. So on October 22nd, a contingency of us as well as V3 will be at the Monumental Awards in Indianapolis to find out whether or not we won the landscape architecture category for the Monumental Awards. We also, in our effort to bring community art to Westfield, have been nominated for the Community Art Award through Noblesville Creates, and we will find out about that at their gala here in, I do believe, in the end of September. So we've had quite a few things go on over the last month, as well as gearing down towards the end of the season. The Splash Park will close once the weather gets cold, probably the end of this month or a little sooner. The last farmers market for the season is tomorrow evening, and we're really gearing up for our planning time of the winter to see what next year will bring. That's kind of what we've had going on this month. If the board has any questions about any of those items or anything else, I'm happy to answer those at this time.
I just want to get a budget overview at some point, maybe next meeting if possible.
Absolutely. The reason the budget overview is not in front of you today is because of that change in where those programs lie.
Perfect,
So we've
yeah.
had to
That's
shift some
understandable.
dollars. Obviously, we're shifting some staff, and we're shifting not only some general fund dollars, but also some sponsorship dollars and some non-reverting funds. So I wanted to make sure that I had my head wrapped around that, and I could give you a complete and honest picture of what we're looking at for next year.
Completely understand.
Great, well, thank you for the detailed report. I don't see any other questions, so we will move on. And I'll just let all know of a reminder that our next regular meeting will be held on Wednesday, October 1st. And we are at the end of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adjourn in a second?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
Terry, will you please call the roll for vote?
Mike Antrim,
Yes.
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Julia Grimmer.
Yes,
Meeting adjourned, 7:22.
thank you.
Hi, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks,
Good
Caitlin.
night.
Thanks.